Nicholas, welcome.
Thank you, Joseph.
How long have you been going to AILA?
I started practicing in 2013, but I didn't become a member of AILA until 2014.
Okay.
And then I think my first annual conference was actually in 2015.
2015.
And so take out a couple of COVID years, I've gone every year since 2015.
Why do you think it's so successful? Why do you think the fact that they launched the web version, yet people will still pay like us and go in person? Like, what's the benefit for you?
Not only do people still pay and show up, but they'll go to places like Orlando and places in Maryland where the city's not the reason you're going, right? It's not always in New York or this year in 2024, Chicago. But I think what it comes down to is we as immigration attorneys are very unique. Because of that, showing up, being there, and then going up and saying, hey, this is who I am, and realizing how open and wanting to help these superstars are, what I think it does is it inspires you to not only do the same to the next, next person that asks you a question, but I think it reminds you that we are a unique breed as immigration attorneys. We, on one part, we're attorneys and we're, legal experts that problem solve and want to help people and make a living doing it. But on the other side, there really is this kind of, we're all advocates, we're all trying to allow people to reach these goals, whatever they may be, in humanitarian, family, business, and everywhere in between. And so I think it makes us unique as a population, so much so that we enjoy each other. We like to spend time together. And I do think that being involved in AILA on a national level, as much as I have been on a local level here in Southern California, what I would hear was how the conferences are great, but I go for the networking. I go for the relationships. There's something to be said about being on a Zoom with somebody and then on the opposite side of him, seeing them in person, asking them how their family, how's the practice? Hey, didn't you have a health scare? How has that been? Hey, that case you referred to me last year, it really worked out. Thank you so much.
Being at the conference, one of the best things about it is you getting immediate answers to some of the questions that you have, right? So the panelists, they're just other attorneys, just like yourself, and they are talking about a topic that they're passionate about, that they have a lot of experience about. And a lot of times, right after the session, you and I both spoke at the national conference before and the local conference, and right afterwards, people come up to you with all sorts of questions, and you are giving free legal advice, and you love that. The week that you are there, so many people are there to help you learn, and you grow so much.
When I was going, the thing that struck me and that continued to inspire me was the accessibility. Everything you're talking about, that you could have an Adam Walsh Act case that you didn't know was an Adam Walsh Act case. And all of a sudden, something comes out in the USC petitioner's background where you're like, uh-oh. And now you look it up on your own, you're like, oh, these are big time cases. And so you look at the conference material, it's like, oh, they're talking about it. And you go and one of three of the presenters, if not all, are the people for these cases. Let me ask you, because I think what's great about you and I in our relationship is that you and I, as just our character, is very different or can be different. And so I'm interested in your experience when you started going, you didn't know anybody, and now you know a few people, right?
Yeah.
How has it evolved from going to this massive event where you don't know many people and you're just gonna sit in front row and do the thing and maybe go to an event here or there, but more or less kind of keep to yourselves, to a point where you bring your team, you do the social events, you do your own events, and it's really probably evolved into this week of like immigration, holiday almost, right? How's that been for you?
Earlier in my career, going there to learn was probably one of the most important things. And getting a vision for how we want to build a firm was very important. Nowadays, we're pretty set on where our trajectory and direction is. So a little bit less learning, a little bit less vendors, but it's more so exploration, figuring out the vision and learning all the different case types and spending time with vendors and learning exactly which vendors to use. That was probably the most important thing for the first 5, 6, 7 years. And now pretty much I want to say 90% of the things that we use are all from
those
AILA,
experiences. Yeah.
Right?
My own journey has been going, showing up, not knowing anybody, going to sessions, really trying to find those kernels, that advice, those practice pointers that people who do the work, and you're like, oh, I never would have thought about doing that. Or, oh man, I thought that was a hard and fast rule. These people are saying, no, no, we do it this way too. And it's like, oh man, you know, how exciting.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because now, because I've gone so often, you speak enough, you're in leadership positions, you start seeing people that you only see at conferences. By being able to connect and then reconnect and grow, as you said with the other content creators, you realize this is why this is a career, this is why this is something that people don't leave. Because not only does it never get boring or stale, but in some instances, it's more art than it is science. We are creating and making arguments or trying things that nobody's ever tried before. And that's the art.
What have you implemented from AILA?
The war stories and the success stories, those are oftentimes the thing I get most, on top of the relationship building, the growing that network, and realizing there's someone that is doing what you wish you knew how to do every day. You just haven't met them. In the same way that somebody's looking to meet you because of what you do every day that's easy for you, they are staying awake at night trying to think, how am I gonna fix this? And I think that's the inspiring thing, that you're looking for help, but just the same, you're looking to help. I worked for an attorney who, when I first started out years ago, they didn't understand the value in a very similar way. And what I had to essentially advocate for was exactly what we've been talking about. This is the case type, these are the common issues, this is what we do. I'll use a sports term for you, Joseph, because you're such a sports guy. I found that to be what I referred to as becoming a system quarterback, meaning you were an attorney for that firm, but that firm alone. You were learning the law for that firm.
Is he really an elite quarterback, or is it just the situation he's in?
No, he's not an elite quarterback. He's a product of the system.
Completely agree. And just like what I said earlier, the first 3, 5, 7 years that I've been going every single year, diligently from 7 a.m. to like 11 p.m. every single year, was so soaked up, dedicated to just learning and broadening the horizon and talking to the vendors. That's going to be the case even if you've been practicing immigration law for 10 years and then you suddenly go for the first year and you've never once practiced business immigration, you never once practiced family immigration or done it this other way, and then you suddenly see the whole world open up, right? And so the later you start going, the later you're starting to actually reap the benefits of it all. Just the vendors alone, right? AILA Link, Fast Case, ILRC, like they have so much material that they're like, and they're your direct mentors that will be able to talk to you. They have experts on standby that can teach you. I wouldn't be able to pass and get my immigration law specialist unless it was for ILRC and AILA. Having practiced already 10 plus years, having so many mentors that can teach me, that is still not enough, because, you know, immigration law is just that vast. And what you practice, that might only be 3% of the whole field. And so going to these events, talking to people and solving immediate cases, that's invaluable. What's amazing is a lot of clients will love to pay for you to go to the AILA. And you need to think about it that way, because it's like,
good point.
you know, it's far, I'm working on your case, it's very difficult. However, there's some experts speaking, it might cost a little bit to go, but you know, there are clients that will be okay for their case to be on pause for a week.
Yeah.
For you to get their question answered.
Well,
that trade-off is worth it.
People that I know, people that are, you know, routinely attend AILA National, they do it for a reason. These are very smart, these are very busy people, but they set aside this massive amount of time in the year during some, you know, early summer. Their kids are done with school, their birthdays and anniversaries and all these things that happen, but they do it because it matters. And they do it because, like you and I, they've realized the value is exponentially, it exponentially grows in ways that a few $1,000s is a small price to pay.
What if you learned that one thing that could transform your practice? And in the beginning, you might not know what that one thing is, and so you're constantly learning. But once you tasted that, that sweet, sweet knowledge that transforms your practice, that insight that, you know, when you're sitting at the lobby and you're seeing all these immigration practitioners from everywhere, and you get that idea, and it transforms how you want to live your life, that is priceless, and you wouldn't have gone that unless you were there, right?
The unknown is scary, but so much of the best parts of life are scary. You know, I push people to attend the conference all the time. Colleagues that I've had for 10 plus years that have never gone, because there's always some reason or what have you. I got a Marriott, oh, we got to, you know, I got an RFE, so I can't, that's timely or it's important. And every year I say, all right, well, next year. And then, you know, 3 months out, hey, did you register? Hey, you got to go. And routinely, the people that eventually do it, they tell me, I wish I would have done this sooner because you were so right.
AILA Chicago, how to prepare for AILA? What would be your top 5 suggestions?
My very first piece of advice, and I just told this to a colleague who's going for the first time, the week before, sleep and eat real food. Because it is such a non-stop week that if you don't sleep, you'll crash. So sleep. I would say study the conference schedule. And there's an app that they release usually weeks ahead of time. The app has gotten better every year, and it's a really nice tool to keep you on schedule and then to understand all of the events that's happening. So I would make sure you pay attention to that. One kind of pro tip is set up a couple of dinners. Set up something with a colleague, a friend, whether it's local, whether it's somebody that you know across the way. And just say, hey, I'm not sure if you're going to be at National, but hey, we should get together. Let's do drinks. Let's do dinner. Don't leave too early. A lot of people want to leave Saturday. A lot of people want to leave even earlier than that. Stay through the entire event. Leave on Sunday because you're going to be so spent through the week. Getting that first flight out of town on Sunday morning, it's going to be rough. I can imagine you have your own set of pro tips that you give or would like to give to people before they attend their first conference.
So I tell all the staff this. We're bringing 8 people this year, and number 1, don't bring too much work with you. Block out some time, but don't bring too many cases. Don't schedule too many calls in between because you're gonna inevitably be in the middle of the session and you have to leave, take the call, come back, and it's gonna disrupt a lot of things. Second, manage your energy. Very much to your point. But part of managing that energy is knowing the space, and a lot of the sessions that you like is all in this building. But if there's 1 or 2 sessions that's like somewhere else, you might just have to sacrifice that, because if you do rush through there, you come back, you have to find a seat again. You could park yourself in this one location and just take the whole track that day. You have more energy level, and then you could always watch that session later on. You contact a friend to go for you, ask these questions. The third advice, go have a lot of fun. There's a lot of sessions that are not on the learning page. It's all like, oh, you know, SoCal chapter is meeting up, San Diego chapter is meeting up, different chapters are meeting up. Go and meet people and have fun, and it's free food. Enjoy the food, enjoy the people. And last one, bring a friend or make a friend. There's so many people there. You can make so many friends, their business card, look them up, meet, and these people are gonna be there for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. They might join your firm eventually. You might join their firms. You guys might join the same firm. You guys, there's so many times when I have requested a case transferred from a different firm because a client came to us. I don't know who the original firm is. I don't know who works there. I just sent the request, and it turns out one of the attorneys who's at that firm met me at the AILA conference before, and they're like, oh, normally this takes 3 weeks, but I know Joseph, so here you go.
I think it's kind of like a lot of things in life where until you go, you don't know, but there are these little things you can do, and I think preparing ahead of time, I think realizing you're not 20 anymore, and so you're going to get exhausted, and if you're not, you know, used to the routine, if you're not eating what you're used to eating, if you don't see your partner, then it can't take a lot out of you. So you're going to, you know, plan on those coffee breaks.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Of course. Until the next time.
All right. See you later.